Hi, I'm Gino here, getting you ready for the Sunday race of the day, where you can get free past performances at DRF.com for the $200,000 Commentator, which is going to go as race number 6 on Sunday at Saratoga, final day of the Belmont Stakes Racing Festival. And this is a race for New York bred or sired runners. $200,000 up for grabs. They're going to be going a mile and an eighth here, and we can take a look at the field from top to bottom. We have a field of 7 lining up, and we're always curious to see what our friends over at Timeform US think about the pace shape of this race. So let's dive into the Timeform US pace projector. Not surprising to me to see that they think that the 7 Olympic Dreams will be forwardly placed, was second in this race last year. Tried the grass last time out, but I think you can just probably put a line right through that. And then was chasing a really fast one and a sharp horse a couple starts back. So doesn't shock me to see there Drake's Passage. You would expect to be forwardly placed coming off those really good efforts where it was sitting second just off. And then Sheriff Bianco would be more of a tactical horse, but the key is he's stretching out from 6 furlongs to a mile and an eighth. So Sunday race of the day, free all access past performances. Let's dive in through the field. Let's go inside through outside. Let's start with the number 1, Sheriff Bianco here. So this is a horse who was 3rd in this race last year. He's going to go second start of the year, second start off a 5-month break. He's been in 5 New York bred races like this, stakes races that are very comparable to this one. Now, he's hit the board in all 5 of those, but he hasn't won any. So just to give you an idea of this, the type of horse he is, in 30 starts, he has 6 wins, 13 runner-up efforts, and then 6 more third-place finishes. So he's a horse who's 0 for his last 11 overall. He picks up a ton of checks. You respect his overall consistency, but he's not a win machine. Sheriff Bianco is a horse who I think is more of an under type. In here, we can take a look at his replay. And what's important with this replay, there are 2 horses that come out of it. We have Sheriff Bianco and Donegal Surges, who's also in that race. So Sheriff Bianco is the number 3. We can see him in the stretch run here. He's finishing second to Rotney, who we're also going to see run this weekend. And behind that was Donegal Surges. And to me, honestly, I just don't think that was the strongest race in the world. So I'm going to be playing like that was not a race to take a whole lot out of against this particular field. We move along to Drake's Passage, the number 2 in here. Drake's Passage finished second last time out. And we also have a look at that particular race, which was over at Belmont at Aqueduct. And he sat second just off the leader. He just could never get by that gate to wire winner that day. But he did win the Albany, a New York bred stakes race just like this one at Saratoga in August, going a mile and an eighth. So we know he could win at this track, at this trip, proven at the distance. And when you really look at the recent form, I mean, he's been facing open company in his last few, moves back in with New York breds. He's lightly raced. He has upside. He's making just his second start at 4. And he does have some excuses for, only a few poor performances throughout his entire career. I think Drake's Passage is a major player. He's probably the horse they'll all have to beat in here. Right next door is Dr. Ardito. Dr. Ardito, the number 3, lures Flavian Pratt for Chad Brown. The blinkers come on, second start off the break. And this is a horse who's moving back in with New York breds after facing open company last time out. This is a 3-time New York bred stakes winner. He's also grade 2 placed. He just doesn't seem like he's going to get as much of a pace setup in here, though, as he needs. I don't know how fast they'll be going early, and he just doesn't have very much early speed. He won 6 races in a row. At one point, he was really sharp. Since then, he's just 2 for his last 9. He was 4th in this race last year, finishing behind same rivals from today, Olympic Dreams and Sheriff Bianco. So I have him as another one that's more of an underneath horse that can be late on the scene. Let's move to the number 4, Whittington Park. This is a horse who's proven at a mile and an eighth, who's proven at Saratoga, who actually was a really nice winner of the Haynesfield 3 starts back on February 24th. That's the race I pulled up for a replay because that was the last time he faced New York bred. So if we want to watch that race, Whittington Park, I thought was really, really impressive. He comes from way out of it that day. I mean, even at the top of the lane in early stretch, he's still 5 lengths behind the winner when he was second, and he was able to wear that one down. Look at some of the horses who he's faced in recent races. Post Time, who's 8 for 10, who's going to be running in the Met Mile. You see Charge It, who's in the Suburban in one of the major players. He has the co-top buyer of any horse in this field with a 99 buyer speed figure. You see Super Chow, who had won 3 of his last 4, all graded stakes. I think Whittington Park is coming into this race in kind of sneaky form because he faced better in his last few and now gets back to the New York Breds. I like him in here, Whittington Park, because I don't think he's as deep of a closer as some of the others, but he will be passing horses late. Donegal Surges, we talked a little bit about him. He's going to get that big stretch out from 6 furlongs all the way to 1 1/8. He's only been a mile one time, so he just feels a cut below to me in here. He has to show more coming off that third place finish. So I just need to see a little bit more from him before including him in some of the exotics. Union Fleet, he's won 3 of his last 5, but the wins were at Pimlico and at Laurel. He was third in a stakes race against Open Company a few starts back, but even that effort, which was his career best, he would have to jump up quite a bit off of that effort to be competitive with this group. That April 13th race at Laurel, he still was a cut below what would need to be, to hit the board in here. So for me, Union Fleet, just a little below the top tier runners in here. And then we get to the outside with Olympic Dreams. He was second in this race last year. And he's only been in 2 New York bred stakes races like this. One of them was a muddy track, and the other one he finished second. This is a good spot for him coming off of back-to-back stakes races where he was just a little overmatched in both of those races. One of them was on the turf. The other was against Messier. Messier has crossed the wire first in back-to-back races. One of them he got DQ'd. The other he was winning a grade 3. And you just look at Olympic Dreams, eliminate the grass race. He's drawn well to the outside. He can sit off the pace a little bit. He's proven at Saratoga. He's proven at 1 1/8. From that outside draw, it should give him some options back to dirt, back with New York Breds, and a race that just doesn't seem to have all that much early speed on paper. He should be one of those speeds. So there's the field from top to bottom. Now, it's an important moment. It's the moment of truth here as we take a look at the selections. I'm going to go with the 4, Whittington Park. I think he has a little more positional speed than some of the deeper closers in here, like Dr. Ardito. I'm hoping Whittington Park can sit mid-pack, and I like that recent form, the last start in with the New York Breds. I think this is a horse who was just trending in the right direction and then had to face too tough of company in the last few. So I have the 4 on top. We put the 7 Olympic Dreams in the second spot with the speed from the outside. Then in the third spot, the 2 Drake's Passage. Been really solid, really consistent in back-to-back races against Open Company. Now gets to face New York Breds here. And then we'll finish it up with Dr. Ardito, the number 3, who will come running late. Best of luck on Sunday. Race number 6 at Saratoga is the Commentator. Don't forget, you can get free past performances at DRF.com for the Sunday race of the day.